Liam, for a long time it looked like you wouldn't get anything out of it, but the team never knows when it's beaten.
No, underpinned by a strong culture. I think again you look at the players, the spirit, the togetherness, the resilience, the grit, the things that are really important. In terms of foundations of a team that wants to perform well, it has to have that. And again, we've done it a few times this year, so we know we're capable of doing it. But I just love it about the group. They never give up. You go a goal behind, and respond like that. So it's a good point.
Well, we've talked about goals from Mo Isa, goals from Scott Twine, and you've been at pains to point out goals from everywhere. And again, Harry Darling 8 this season.
Yeah, definitely recently. Obviously, he's looked a real threat from set pieces, and again, credit to Hoggy, the work that he does with the guys, and the players for owning it. They play a big part in the set pieces, and it's not a case of just slinging it in there and he heads it. There's a lot more to it in terms of the discipline and roles required, and the lads have really bought into it and have started executing it, which is why we look so dangerous.
At parts though, frustrating.
Yeah, in numerous aspects. I think I think firstly the referee's performance, I think, made it difficult, very stop-start. Then the inconsistencies, first half to second half, you could feel the atmosphere. It was slightly frustrating to actually build any momentum because the game kept stopping from that sense. And then, hey, look, Wigan had a clear game plan to come here and stop us playing, which, when teams do that and they're as physical and as experienced and as well set up as they were, it makes it difficult. So, overall, I think a point's probably a fair result when you look at the number of chances created and how the game went.
Third versus second, sometimes there's anticipation about that, and certainly the first half it probably failed to deliver what the expectations were.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of edginess, I thought, first half, and like I say, when you kind of come here expecting to see a free-flowing game of lots of attacking moments and chances, but I think the foundations have to be being hard to beat in games like that to make sure that you're in there and that you don't lose the game. So I actually thought we started the second half a lot better. I was really pleased with the first sort of 6-7 minutes of the second half. I thought we went through them. The things we spoke around at half time started to come out. We moved the ball quicker. We caused them problems with the just the tweaks that we made, and then the momentum shifted from us, not them. I thought an element of sloppiness with the ball, which that then lifted them, and they start to get success in their press and their plan of trying to play off our mistakes. So I thought it was from a coach's perspective, it was an interesting game. But like I said, I'm pleased we've got a point.
You always want the players on the bench to make a difference, but in their own way, all three of them had some kind of impact.
Yeah, I say every week. I think players need to be ready to step in and have an impact, whether that's for 95 minutes, whether it's for 10 minutes, whatever it might be. Everyone needs to physically, mentally be in the best condition possible, ready to go and contribute, because each week it's about the team, it's around the team and what we're trying to achieve as a group of players, and no individual's bigger than that. So I think what we see and what we work really hard is to make sure that the subs are ready to step in and deliver when required.
You've got a week now. It's been Saturday, you've had a few midweek games over the last few months, but a chance to prepare for next week.
Yeah, and it will be key. I think the stage of the season we're at, getting the right balance of rest, recovery versus training. The danger, what you don't want to do is now go and hit them hard in training, because we've got the opportunity to train. I think we obviously still have to be sensible with that. We'll have a look at obviously the game back. We'll reflect, see where guys are at, and and we'll go and have a solid week training ready for next Saturday.
How massive is it for morale to specifically not lose, but also to nick one late, because all of the crowd leaves the stadium on a high then?
Yeah, I think definitely when you talk around not momentum just in the 90 minutes, but between games as well. You go away and just a little similar after Ipswich, you go away and go, a point's not a bad thing. And I think you look at progress of the team. I think when we played them up there last time, although we won, it was a second half of hanging on and up against it, whereas you look at it today and it felt like we were the team. If anyone was going to score late on, it was us, because just how we took the game to them a little bit more. I thought we showed an element of us trying to really break them down and go through them. So like I said, I'm really pleased for the guys that how they responded, and then pleased with the point.
Do you think they'll be happier with a point than perhaps you are?
You have to ask Liam that, to be fair. I'm not sure what their game plan was in terms of results, etc. But I thought they came in really well structured, really well set up, and difficult to break down.
Was the goal that Wigan scored a bit of an irritating one to concede, or was it just an unfortunate deflection that let a spare man in?
Yeah, I think it's probably the lead up to the set pieces before we started. Like I said, the first 6-7 minutes was good. Then we had a 5-minute spell where we were a little bit sloppy and gave away too many free kicks, which just shifts the momentum. I thought if they were going to score, it's probably off a set piece. And yeah, you talk about slightly lucky. The deflection to go through is what it is. It happens in a game. I'm sure we've had their moments go for us as well. So yeah, frustrating probably more the few minutes leading up to the goal.
You saw the players cut short their celebration to rush back to the centre and retake kickball because they felt that there was a genuine chance of getting another goal and winning the game. Is that a sign of the character that you're trying to build here?
Yeah, definitely. I think we went into the game to win it today. We don't go in to take a point. So I think that speaks volumes when you see the guys respond like that, because it shows their intentions and what they want to do. And there's a real belief in the group. Should really believe, because their level's high. You see it today. You see it at Rotherham. That when you look at the quality we have and the potential the team has, it's right up there.
7 points in a week. It's got to outcome overall.
Yeah, and off the back of a tough run as well. If you look at the fixtures we've had of late, it's another tough game. Which, like I said, I'm just delighted, by the players, their response and how they performed.
And is it a case going forward that even though Wigan have the games in hand, it's just a case of getting all the points you can, and whatever happens in their games happens?
Totally. I think you can wreck your head. I think looking at every other team, their fixtures, what points you need, this, that, the other. I think if, like I said, we've got 8 big games left. It's about making sure that we're going into the game next week with the same level of focus, the same level of intensity, and the same level of discipline to try and win.
Yeah, I think that's now like 11 games unbeaten. I mean, how have you sort of instilled that belief into your players?
I think the first lick comes from the players. I think they're just making them realise their level and their potential. And I think getting success in games helps that. I think when you go and pick up some results against some sides that are up there that are so-called big names, and we go there and play the level we can, I think it breeds confidence. And yeah, I think it's all underpinned by a really strong culture. I talk a lot about culture, and it's so important. But being hard to beat, being honest, being disciplined, being focused, working with intensity is what they do day in, day out. So actually, when you then go into the game, you're prepared. And like I said, the players every day come in and do the best that they can.
Yeah, and you've obviously got a very young side. I just wondered if at times there against Wigan, maybe perhaps that counted against you in some areas with, some, hugely experienced players for Wigan. I just wondered what you thought about that.
Yeah, I thought you saw that. I thought, if you look at the game, they didn't really give us anything. Whereas, that 5-minute spell, we tended to give them a few bits, which, it's part of learning, part of the group and individuals. We're in that learning in terms of these moments. And the position we're in now will be completely new for so many of the players and staff, that we have to, we have to reflect, we have to look at it, we have to take the all the learning from that experience and try and learn from it. But what excites me more than anything is that we are so young, but the level for these guys and the ceiling is really high, and it's about as a group of staff and as a group of players and staff together, can we unlock that?
Yeah, and I mean the goal obviously came from like a set piece situation rather than kind of a flowing move, but from what you said, it doesn't sound like you really seem to mind about that, given that it's still a set piece situation which you've coordinated, etc., all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and again, that's one for definitely Hoggy and Pricey, the other end, the defensive one. But Hoggy, Chris Hogg does a lot of work with the guys on the set pieces, and it's not a case of just slinging it in the box and scoring a header. I think there's so much more that goes into it in terms of positions, disciplines, blocks, etc. So that we've looked dangerous recently from set pieces, which is good to see. And like I said, credit for the players, they own it with Hoggy. It's not a case of you have to do this, you have to do that. Hoggy creates the framework and the structure, and then it's the challenge on the players then to deliver it. And again, you saw that today.
Yeah. And any fears about that run coming to an end, or not really? I mean, I guess you just take it game by game.
Game by game. Do you know what I mean? We talk a lot about confidence, and people talk around confidence being high, but I've said it numerous times, it needs to be in a sweet spot. I think the second you become overconfident or too confident, you take your eye off the most important thing, which is your focus, your discipline, and how you work, and making sure that next Saturday's going to be another tough game, and we have to be ready for that.